Dear project partners from Project AMETHyST and our dear guests from Slovenia, from the hydrogen ecosystem, I will say, very warmly welcome here on this workshop, on this meeting on exchange of experience. We are very happy that we can host you here in Slovenia. So my name is Vlasta Krmel and I am Director of Energy and Climate Agency of Podravje from Maribor, and we are partner in AMETHyST project that is dealing with fostering the implementation and the use of the hydrogen. And today there is the third project meeting, so here. The next slide. The main purpose of the AMETHyST project is that we would like to really go very deeply into this hydrogen ecosystem, because we would like to support different stakeholders, how they could really, we all together can foster the green hydrogen production in Alpine Region, because this is the program INTERREG Alpine Space that is really co-financing the activities of promoting the Alpine Region as sustainable and green one. And yeah, we project partners work very deeply with different stakeholders, with public authority, national authority, regional authority, with industry, research, and other energy and other agency, because we would really like to prepare the landscape, prepare the ground for implementing and really use of the hydrogen, as we know that hydrogen will play, especially green one, will play some important parts in the future energy transitions. Next slide, please. So what we are really doing in our AMETHyST project, so we would like to prepare some theoretical and technical backgrounds, documents, and also we would like to identify what is blocking or what are the opportunities within the hydrogen, and to share this information between the partners to see how one country or region is doing and what can we learn from each others, and that really this supporting service for hydrogen will spread, and more people will have information about the possibility for hydrogen. We are sure that more and more people will also use them. The next slide. So there are many partners. The next slide, please. So yeah, so firstly we are mapping the territories to see the opportunities, the barriers, and we are designing different tools and finding supporting tools for different stakeholders. We are trying to make pilots in each region. We are trying to develop pilots because we think the pilots are the ones that really can show us what is going, what can work and what cannot. And then we will have a lot of documents for policy recommendation for different governments, for different authorities that will help also others to go further. The next slide. Here are also some pictures from already implemented activity. The last one was from Innsbruck, because partners already travel a little bit and see some good practices in Montier in France, and then also in Innsbruck. Yeah, so here we have listed our partners from Italy, from France, from Switzerland, from Germany, from Slovenia, from Italy. Yeah, there is a good mix of different knowledge, different experience, and I think this is what makes this AMETHyST really good project that we can share. So I think this is for the start, that you will have a little bit of a frame of our activity. And now I will, I wish you a successful afternoon, that you go home with a lot of information and really good plans. What are you going to change to make the hydrogen project live very soon? So now I will give the floor to the Benjamin, and you can go on with the workshop.
Thank you very much, Vlasta, for your introductory words. Well, welcome to everybody. I would like to briefly introduce ourselves, the moderators. We are Maren Meyer and Benjamin Auer. We work at the Energy Agency of Bolzano, Casa Clima, in northern Italy. And we work in European cooperation projects, and we are, in fact, project partners of the AMETHyST project. And we are also co-leaders of the USALP Action Group 9, which is the action group dealing with energy efficiency and renewable energies. And today we are organizing here the second of our exchange programs that we have that we are planning in the AMETHyST project. The exchange program is thought to bring together people, experts from enterprises, from public authorities, and from decision makers in order to share their thoughts, their experiences on success stories and on barriers and challenges they're facing. This is, the idea behind this is to come up eventually with recommendations, with policy guidelines that we want to share widely within our networks, and in order to promote and bring hydrogen policies in the Alpine area further forward. We have a tightly packed program today. So I would like not to lose any more time, and I would like to give the word to my colleague Maren for the first part of the project. Just one more information: the Zoom meeting is recorded, just so you are aware of this. So Maren, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Benjamin, for the short introduction. I think I have to move, otherwise the camera will not see me. In order to start with our little work that we are going to do today, two more technical details. As Benjamin already said, it is a hybrid event, so we have to use the microphone so that people that are online can hear us. This is valid for those people that are panelists, but also at the same time for all those that are afterwards asking questions to the panelists. Please be aware that when you speak, you always have the microphone with you, number one. And number two, the event is being recorded, and we would like to use it afterwards as an online source. So if you are okay with this, I hope that we can show this video afterwards. Okay, so we hold on for 2 minutes, or should I continue? I continue because we are busy. Okay, so I will. Okay, so I will move on. As you've seen already, today we will talk about the establishment of hydrogen value chains in Slovenia. And in order to talk about this, we thought to break our discussion down into panels. The first panel will basically look at hydrogen policy frameworks and also the economic frame that is currently put up in Slovenia. And then in the second part, we will dive much into the application part, let's say. We will talk with so-called also pioneers in this field of hydrogen in Slovenia to understand what are the experiences in implementing the projects, what are the opportunities, as it was already being said, but also the barriers, especially also economic and legal barriers at the same time. If the technical problem is being resolved, I would like to move on. It's all fine? Okay, perfect. But I move on. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what I would like to do right now as a co-facilitator to invite the people of the first panel to come and join me. I would like to present, first of all, Mr. Davor Rašić. He's the Undersecretary and the Energy Directorate in the Ministry of Environment, Climate and Energy. Please have a seat with me. Thank you very much. I also would like to welcome Mr. Mitja Mori, professor at the University of Ljubljana. Feel free to join me. Blanka Odlesek from the Regional Development Agency of Gorinska, as well as Matej Šilc from Česna. Please join me as well. And Vlasta, please also join our panel today. I will have a seat with you and we'll ask you some questions in order to understand a bit better what the policy framework and the economic framework in Slovenia will look like. And I would start with you. You are setting the scene today for this roundtable. Please tell us a bit more about the general policy framework as far as regards hydrogen and what other policy goals as far as regards green hydrogen in Slovenia. Thank you very much. I give you another microphone.
Is this thing on? Okay, it is. So first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. Perhaps a few opening words. From the ministry's point of view, we really support all of these projects that are popping up basically everywhere in Slovenia and also on a wider space in Europe. Just, I think, in last two weeks, we got a really high number of requests for support letters from various projects on the hydrogen topic. So we are really happy that this, let's say, story is really kicking in. Perhaps moving back to your question. So first, we have to set the stage for the hydrogen development in Slovenia. So the stage is that we are currently in the middle of recasting our national energy and climate plan, in which the let's say the energy plan compared to the previous NACP will totally be revamped. Why is that? Because in recent years, responding to the energy crisis and Corona, etc., the European Commission has introduced several acts, ranging from the Fit for 55 Act to Repower EU, etc. And we really have to, let's say, increase the renewables and, of course, the energy potential coming from renewables in Slovenia. And moving back to the hydrogen story, so our NACP really has 5 key aspects. And we see hydrogen being a part of 2 key aspects, meaning the first being the decarbonization. So in the NACP, we stated that around 10 to 30% of all the gases in Slovenia being used in 2030 will come from biomethane or hydrogen. Currently, we have, correct me if I'm wrong, Mitya, we have 0% of hydrogen being used in gas consumption in Slovenia, more or less.
Yeah, in general, or in the general grid, for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know. Is this working?
Yeah.
Hello, also from my side. I'm coming from University of Ljubljana, Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. Just to support your, actually in the grid there is end consumption of the hydrogen. We don't have the grid yet, so I don't have the data if hydrogen is coming from the abroad. Let's say in the gas pipeline, that is also possible, but there is no end consumption as it should be on the bigger scale. That's I support your.
Okay, thank you. And moving back to the original question, so another key aspect is, of course, the research and innovation. So we currently, I believe, we invest about 1 or 2% of the entire GDP into research and innovation. By 2030, this percentage should increase to about 3.5, meaning that, let's say, to summarize, we see that by 2030, hydrogen should be, let's say, a part of our everyday lives in Slovenia.
Thank you very much. Just talking about everyday's life and hydrogen presence, what is the main usage for hydrogen in Slovenia that you envisage? And can you also maybe give us, just to come back also to the National Climate and Energy Plan, a number of your hydrogen value by 2030?
Okay, thank you for the question. So we envision that hydrogen will mainly be used in industry, so the hard-to-abate sector, and in transport. But I really have to emphasize that there are certain people that say fuel cells in vehicles are, let's say, not the most appropriate way of using energy, because you have to use electricity to produce hydrogen. On the other side, we have the, let's say, the fuel cell, let's say, I'm not going to say fanatics, but the fuel cell enthusiasts that say on the other side that the electric cars are not designed for example, heavy transport and let's say long commutes. So we envision that both the electric, let's say electric transport and fuel cell based transport, they really will have to go, let's say, coexist. On one side, we have the electric transport being used for, let's say, last mile deliveries, for city transport, etc. Whereas for heavy transport and let's say longer commutes, fuel cells are really, let's say, I'd say more energy efficient than electric vehicles.
Okay, thank you very much. That was already a bit clearer to us. We had a first meeting in Innsbruck just to introduce you also what we are doing in AMETHyST, and we had quite a similar discussion about the usage of hydrogen in different sectors and the big question mark of integrating hydrogen in mobility. As USALP, so the macro strategy in the Alpine area, we connect especially actors that are energy agencies, but also science. And we have some very interesting papers that dive into this mobility issue also, and the usage of hydrogen. And we are very happy to share them with you afterwards. And maybe also our colleagues from Innsbruck can outline a bit better what they are doing in the field of mobility, because I think there are some dots that we can connect easily here. I would like to move on with you, Professor Modi. You already had a first introduction, and you said some people say it is like this with hydrogen and others say it is like that. I know that you are looking pretty much also into the issue of green hydrogen economy, and you are looking basically into calculations of how much renewable energies will be needed also in order to deliver all the hydrogen in the future. Can you give us some insights here? Do you see some problems in the incorporation of the of hydrogen into the existing energy system? First question. And then I know somebody told me that you are also an expert of life cycle assessment, and we are very eager to hear also your opinion about life cycle assessment and green hydrogen. Thank you.
Thank you for 2 questions. Do we have the whole day maybe? Just that I can explain, yes. Because yeah, hydrogen is, I always tell to people, hydrogen is very sexy, you know. It's tempting, but on the other side, there are quite big challenges on every step you take in the hydrogen. So first, of course, you have to have a huge renewable energy sources, and we know that your renewable energy sources are intermittent. So when you connect this to the hydrogen infrastructure, I don't know how much you know, but connecting the intermittent renewable source with the electrolyzer, it's not always the optimal way, especially when you're dealing with old electrolyzer, alkaline electrolyzer. PEM are now more dynamic, but you have to invest a lot in the electrolyzer, so to produce hydrogen. Then you have to store it, or first you have to transport it. We have many ways of the, let's say, value chains of the hydrogen. We are in many projects, but more from the sustainability point of view, but we are collaborating with the industry partners. So in the ammonia value chain, there is a huge projects how to, of course, produce ammonia in the regions that are very sunny, then transport ammonia to Europe or North America or wherever else in the world and convert it back to the hydrogen, of course. You lose a lot of exergy. If you are from the technical background, you know that the exergy is the one of the issue of the hydrogen, because we are losing the quality, the energy efficiencies are where they are. But of course, there are many possibilities, and Europe is investing in this moment a lot, especially in the electrolyzers. So PEM electrolyzer is quite known relative technology that is on relative high tier levels. Then it's new technology that is kind of competing now with the PEM electrolyzer is anion exchange membrane water electrolyzer. In my opinion, it will be in 5 years that we will have a winner, because the anion exchange water electrolyzer advantages are that there are no critical materials in. So now it's another issue that we are tackling with the hydrogen technologies. We have to have critical materials to build this technology. I'm talking about platinum, I'm talking about ruthenium. Europe want to ban naphthalene because has fluorides inside. So if we ban this component, we can forget about hydrogen technologies in the midterm. So there are the third technology that is invested very heavily now is solid oxide electrolyzer. That is a bit different from other two electrolyzers, but more for the stationary operation. It's high temperature technology, but has even less critical materials. It's more robust and has higher efficiencies. So, of course, first we have to produce hydrogen. I don't know if we will succeed that with just renewable energy sources. We will have to sacrifice also other ways to push the hydrogen in, and then to establish the grid and, of course, end consumptions. I will just conclude with that. We have a lot of knowledge in the Slovenia, but the one challenge is to make a really good strategy, and the other challenge is to somehow combine the knowledge of these researchers that will act in the one way, because it will be important that we will also be component producers in the future. We have to avoid being just the buyers from the technology from the outside. We have to manage to go beyond that.
Thank you very much. I think that was a very valid comment also of what you've said, putting especially also the production of hydrogen. Although we call it local hydrogen, there's always a global perspective also in it, and I think it's very important to have this exchange on life cycle assessment as far as regards hydrogen, because otherwise we will just commit the same mistakes as we did in the 90s, maybe also with the energy transformation.
Maybe just to add, I didn't talk about sustainability. In all these projects, I think we have around 10 projects financed from the Clean Hydrogen Partnership currently in all areas, so the distribution, the solid oxide, anion exchange, PEM, etc. And we are making sustainability assessment. Hydrogen will be a niche application in the near future, for sure. And we are trying to show where the hydrogen is more sustainable than other energy solutions, because with that we are helping the hydrogen to enter the energy system even quicker, especially tackling from the manufacturing, so critical materials, less critical materials, then higher efficiencies, of course coupling with the renewable energy sources, including the ammonia value chain, having higher pressure in the vessels to transport a bigger amount of the hydrogen within one truck, etc. So there are a lot of, and you have to show at the end how more sustainable, how much more sustainable is this than from the reference cases that maybe we have currently. So what will be in the future and how we can push this story.
Thank you very much. If I can, a last question. In a perfect world, what would be the best application of hydrogen in Slovenia in the next 20 years?
Heavy industry is, of course, the first thing that will use this, and there are many good practices in Slovenia already. Heavy industry will do that, okay, maybe with the coupling with the renewables and also to lower the carbon footprint of their energy-intensive use. Steel industry, all other industries that are connected with the glass industry, yes. Then it's maybe in the transport, I would avoid here the cars. That's my personal opinion. Heavy-duty trucks, yes. In Croatia, okay, we don't have just a few kilometers of sea. Nautical industry is very, let's say, interested with the hydrogen. But why not? In my opinion, what I would like, because I don't have a crystal ball, but I would like to have the island system on my house that I can be completely energy independent. In my opinion, in the today world, energy is becoming very expensive. And as a parent with a family, I would maybe pay more in the future to be self-sufficient in terms of the energy. Of course, it is still a long way, but why not to look at the hydrogen in that way? But of course, industry is first, and we have to support it. Military here is very intensive in the pushing the hydrogen. Industries, there is Slovenian region that is pushing because they will closing the Tež in the near future. So the coastal region, Nova Gorica, they are very intensive in the hydrogen. We have to just now support all these players and put that on the bigger scale from the governmental point of view. And I think that we can succeed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Professor Mori, for all these insights and sharing also your thoughts of what should come first, what should come next within developing the strategy for hydrogen energy sector. And you just touched two important issues. And one issue is, of course, the hard-to-abate sector. And we will have later on also presentations of the forerunners in Slovenia. One of the forerunners, of course, that will talk about what they're doing in these hard-to-abate sectors already in hydrogen and why they do this, basically. And secondly, you also talked about the importance of networking actors. This is something that we also would like to discuss later on with Vlasta. But before we come to this, I would like to introduce to you two more panelists today, which are project partners and lead partner of the H2MA project. Exactly. If you can share the microphones, that would be perfect also. And I would like to ask at first, Matev Schiltz, you are the lead partner of the project H2MA. If you can just delineate very briefly what the main goal of your mobility project is, and maybe you can also very briefly give a feedback on what has been said before about the mobility sector and the usage of hydrogen in this field. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Mateusz Schiltz. I'm coming from Slovenia. We are from the organization called the Energy Agency of Savinjska, Šaleška and Koroška region. We are also one of the Slovenian stakeholders who has touched a lot about the hydrogen technologies. We had a pilot a few years ago, which is still, let's say, on the plate, but it was not completely finished, never. We had a pilot to initiate a public transport, the first self-sustainable and self-sufficient hydrogen transport in Slovenia with 6 public buses, but it didn't went through. So yeah, we gained a lot of knowledge from that perspective. Not me personally, but you know, we all have our colleagues we drink coffee with, so I know a lot about that. But yeah, nevertheless, so we are representing here today, me and my colleague Blanca. From a regional from Regional Development Agency of Gorenjska region. We are representing the H2MA project, which stands for Green Hydrogen Mobility for Alpine Region Transportation. So basically, what we do in general, we didn't have so focused approach on the technology, or let's say just yeah, just the scale of the value chain of the green hydrogen. As for example your project, we are mostly focused on yeah, green hydrogen mobility and let's say the social and policy readiness of different partner regions within the project. So just how different sets of stakeholders are coping with upcoming deployment of green hydrogen on field. So theoretically we were just supporting the policy making and policy making process, and we are focused on seeing and finding different shortcomings in already established policy instruments which are currently in force, and we gained a lot of knowledge out of that. For example, what we saw at the first when we started with this project is that a lot of KPIs has been set which haven't been yeah, just in different partner regions haven't been touched yet. So for example, a lot of numbers have been set in different policy instruments which, if you compare to the current numbers right now, are not yeah, just aligned with each other. So these policy instruments, of course, will need to be, these KPIs will need to be lowered in future. But yes, so this is one of the, let's say, just levels of knowledge we gained. And on the other hand, we were trying to yeah, find a way how to support these sets of stakeholders on different levels. So we have industry stakeholders, policymakers on the national, regional and local levels. We were just trying to find a way how to help them with policy planning, and we have successfully developed a tool with one of our stakeholders, University from Milano, Politecnico di Milano. We designed a tool which basically is calculating from different input details that you just insert in the tool. It calculates, basically it presents the future demand, basically on the percentage that you insert, and how different details should then align with each other. For example, like what we have HRSs, different locations where we should put the HRSs, where we should put hydrogen production units, how, for example, hydrogen network should look like if we have, let's say, 20%, let's say, if the numbers of the demand are 20% higher or such. So it's a funny tool, but you know, it's yeah, it's hard to use it because currently it's hard to say. For example, in 2030 we'll have 5% more cars that will use hydrogen, or it's hard to put these numbers right now. Yeah, it's basically what we are doing. We are trying to project something which we don't know. But yeah, so this are different mechanisms that we use in our project. Yeah, I hope this answers your question.
Thank you very much. I think tools such as the one that you have developed are very important, especially for the energy planning sector, because we see it is quite difficult still to somehow integrate hydrogen as a concept into the overall energy planning. You said something that I was really looking forward to hear from you today also, is about the social acceptance, because this is something we don't talk too much about when we talk about hydrogen. At least from my perception, this is something that is a bit lacking from time to time. Can you share some outputs of your research as far as regards social acceptance? Is it different from other energy or especially renewable energy sectors? We all are familiar with the not in my backyard phenomena. Is it the same for hydrogen, or are there also other issues that have to be taken care of when we talk about social acceptance and awareness? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'll try to answer it probably in general sense, because yeah, we didn't target it so much. We have been talking about it, but I think green hydrogen technology is similar to other technologies like raising now in Europe, for example, SMRs or MRs. You know, it's a brand new technology that just came up in Europe, and the general publicity, of course, doesn't have so much knowledge. There are just small groups of people, basically in each level of stakeholders that are eager to try to read, to just get to learn as much as possible about this technology. But for green hydrogen, I would say that yes, in general, people know a lot about it. They support the technology. But as we can see, for example, on field, currently Slovenia, we have zero, or in Europe we have zero cars. We have some pilots in industry, but I think what, for example, the countries of Alpine region, and probably also of extracting Germany, because they have already done a lot on field, need is just a bunch of successful pilots in order to push the technology in the public, just for them to see that it is a success.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to move on now also with Blanka Odlasek. You are a project partner of the H2MA project, and I'm particularly also interested in looking into the governance aspects with you of your project, because you're working in a transborder and transnational network within the project, and I would especially be interested to understand why you think transborder cooperation is important when setting up hydrogen value chains on the one hand, and then what are also the difficulties in transborder collaboration in the hydrogen sector?
Yeah, okay. First of all, it's very, very great that, first of all, thank you for inviting me. It's great that European Union gives us the money so that we can focus on the specific topic and, not just cooperate cross-border to address it, but also, to kind of push us into the direction to start learning about it and to go in some aspects that you could never go otherwise, if not for these projects. So they're really an added value. In terms of cross-border or transnational cooperation, first of all, it enables you to benchmark, to where you are, and to motivate you, to kind of catch up, to bridge the gaps in the development. And in terms of our project, there are huge differences between, even policies and investments and planning, among the Alpine Space regions. Germany really advancing, and in the production capacities, in the planning, the strategies, the distribution aspects, the planning, and also setting up already hydrogen fueling stations. And Slovenia is on the tail of the Alpine Space countries in this regard. So it kind of pushes you to, plan together and also cooperate with the national and regional stakeholders and analyze this. So, this is really an added value. And because at the end of the day, we need to work on this, and we need to kind of position ourselves in European hydrogen economy, and into the market of it. And we need to create, first of all, really, solid strategic planning, not just, on the EU level. And they need to kind of I mean, be solid in terms of not change in a decade or so. But also, you know, then Slovenia, that maybe it's really good that it follows a little bit behind to learn from others and not to be kind of a leading in this. You know, to kind of position itself into this market. So this kind of transnational corporations are really, for us, an added value. But for, you know, if I just go a little bit back to your question of, you know, how the general public considers hydrogen, I think it's the less they know, the more in favor they are. So if you keep them like clueless, they will cheer like crazy. But more they know, and more you get to know about the hydrogen, the more problems you see, the more concerns are raised. I mean, when I entered, I mean, I tackled electric mobility for many, many years, and this hydrogen project was the first project that we got on hydrogen. So I was just really interested to go further than mobility, you know, and I start reading and listening to different, you know, scientists, chemists. Do we have a chemist here? No? Okay. And environmentalists, biologists, economists, engineers. There are so many problems. And when I hear hydrogen and ammonia and transfer across the seas and water, I get chills. I don't know how Germany can consider that, really. Being so environmentally conscious, it just makes me chills.
Okay, thank you for this very, well, also personal insights that you gave us, and especially also as far as regards social acceptance, and also the lack of knowledge as far as regards this technology. This is something, of course, that is something that we all have to work on, I think, when hydrogen is being promoted, to also talk about the pitfalls. This is well noted, and I would like to move on now with Vlasta. Vlasta, I got to know you as an expert in an international context, which is the EUSALP, the EU strategy for the Alpine area. You've been appointed as an expert for Slovenia, and you've joined the EUSALP Action Group 9. That is concerned with energy efficiency and renewable energy. So what is happening now in 2024 and 2025 is basically that the regions and states of the Alpine area have called to review their political priorities until 2025. So under the Austrian presidency, we will establish a new action plan. The action plan is normally valid for about a decade, so we talk about 10 years frameworks. And I'm very curious to know from you as an expert, what role should play hydrogen in the context of Alpine collaboration and policy making in the next 10 years? If you could just, for example, define a flagship or a project that should be of importance for the Alpine area. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yeah, I think as we see from the many strategies around the EU, that yes, I believe that hydrogen will play some part of the role in the energy transition, in energy mix in the future. But whenever we would like to see the future, like 5 or 10 years, I always ask myself, so let's be in ideal world. So we have all the money that we want, and then we have all knowledge that we want, because I'm sure these two at the moment we have a European Hydrogen Bank with the billions of money there, and I'm sure that with all the knowledge around the Europe, we also have the knowledge. But so putting on the table that we have all the knowledge of the technologies and every money, so are we going to be able to implement the project in the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. Then you ask yourself, who's from your here in the room has started to build a house, we all know what we are going through. 3 permissions, 5 permissions, special planning issue, safety issue. And I think that, yes, looking for this program in Alps, yes, hydrogen will play some part and will be a technology, but we have to put a lot of efforts in these aspects of how to put different projects into the ground, to implement it, really to work it. And this is special planning aspects, including environmental impact assessments, influencing all other issues, life cycle assessment. So this is something that we have to work on it a lot to come to the solutions, what is good. There are many positive aspects, there are many negative. So, and we will have to make some compromises. But without putting into really on a paper on the permissions about the safety, about the building, about the environment, biology, nature 2000. So this will give us the real information where we are at the moment. Because if you know that if a country would like to put a big project into this plan, or to build it, it needs to change we call it in Slovenia, national special plan. So, and it usually takes 5 to 10 years to make it, because there is so difficult to have all the opinions from the opinion makers. If you look on the local level, we have municipal special planning plans, so, and they need about 2 to 5 years to change. So these are really important aspects. And then another one, which is also something that we really have to put the efforts in our documents as a crucial project for the next 5 years, is the people and human resources. The problem is where to find enough companies that are able to build the hydrogen project. How many companies in Europe do we have that are able really to build all these distributions and make everything this? And when you have this, how many people or skilled people we have to operate it, to take care of it? And I think at least these two aspects connected strongly to the hydrogen are so important that we have to tackle. And this should be the area or the issue that we have to talk when we are talking about the hydrogen. But I still believe that hydrogen, with its potential, with the many benefits that it has, that will really play between, like you said, 10 to 30% in the energy mix regarding especially in the industry and heavy transport.
Thank you very much, Vlasta. This leads me now to giving the floor now to Benjamin Auer, my co-facilitator. We have listened now a bit about the framework, actors, economy, policy, and governance, and we've tackled also a bit the first barriers that were encountered by projects that were now presented, and we now get more onto the pilot phases. So we have different experts online that are joining us now that would like to present their hydrogen projects. What I would like you to suggest you, if you want to see the presentations, you just move back to the table and join us later again for the questions and answers section. So please enjoy also the presentations and listen carefully what people are telling us right now, because we will discuss them together with you. And I pass now over to Benjamin. Thank you.